Hi, sobat malming. Welcome back to our Saturday quiz. I hope everyone is healthy and happy as the three of us, because we have a very special guest today. Another dream come true guest, right, for Josefa and Mas Thomas?
That's so true, Bulanoke. He is far away. He is from far away, Italy. He is not only an ER enthusiast, practitioner, but also a book author. I believe many of Indonesian teachers and their students have read one of his amazing books and used the book for some interesting before and after reading activities. The book title is Egghead. So, can you guess who he is?
I know. I have read Egghead with my students too, and I love that book. The book is really inspiring to help students understand about bullying and stop doing it. He is Michael Lacey Freeman, right? Oh my god! I can't believe I will meet my favorite book author today.
It's true, Mas Thomas, yes, you are right. And I'm also very excited to meet him. I have read his second book too, Dot to Dot, and let's greet
Wow.
him then. Hello, Michael, how are you?
Hello everybody. Really nice to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being with us today. I'm glad that we can make it happen apart from the challenge time difference between Indonesia, Ohio, and also Italy. Michael, first of all, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Michael, and I live in Italy, but I come from Britain. I moved to Italy when I was about 26 years old, and intending to stay for 1 year, but I liked it so much that I stayed. And I've been teaching English uh, here in Italy for 30 years and writing stories oh, for about 10 years, 10 years, the last 10 years I've been writing stories, which one of the stories was Egghead, but also other stories as well. And so I spend my time teaching English, writing stories and talking about stories in Italy and also other parts of the world when possible. Yeah, and yeah, and here I am in front of you today. Really happy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for the introduction, Michael. Yeah. Can't believe that we finally talk again. Oh,
Yeah,
by the
right.
way,
3 years.
yeah. Congratulations again, because Egghead won the Language Learner Literature Award by Extensive Reading Foundation in 2017. Now, Michael, what is Egghead and why did you decide to write that book?
That's a great question. I was bullied a lot at school. I was both physically and mentally, and until I was about 16, this continued. Um, and then when this period finished, I tried to forget, like we all do when we suffer. When we try to put it away somewhere in our heart and carry on with our lives. And I did so for a long time. I didn't talk to anybody about that period of my life, my childhood. I didn't talk about the bullying. But then one day I was back in Britain. It was my birthday, and I was going to a restaurant to meet some people, and I walked into the restaurant, and there were 100 people in the restaurant, all friends of mine, relatives, family. It was a surprise birthday party. It was a beautiful moment for me, but my mother had positioned one person by the door. When I came in, the first person I saw was my teacher from school when I was a young boy, my teacher who helped me so much through the difficult period of being bullied. And when I saw her, I became a little boy again. I said, "Good evening, Mrs. Hewitt," with a voice, and I even made myself smaller. She was so important to me, and to see her again had such an impact on me that I decided that the next story I wanted to write was Egghead. I wanted to become that little boy again, to see the world through his eyes again, and to tell my story, because I thought it's time, and it was very therapeutic for me to do this. It's not good to keep things hidden. I just told my story, and very simply, directly, very quickly as well. And when I finished the story, I remember I was sitting here in this where I am now, and I had the feeling that there was one line, there was something missing. And so I went out for a walk, and I came back half an hour later, and I realized, and I wrote one line, one sentence. And then I knew the story was finished, and I was feeling really like such a feeling of liberation. That last line is basically when Egghead talks to the reader, and Egghead says, "Maybe Andrew is helping you." And that was the line. And at that moment, I knew the story was finished. And I just hoped that even if it helped one child, I would be happy to feel less alone, to know that they're not alone, because that is one of the strongest things you feel, I think. When you are a victim of things like that, you feel alone. You feel there's nobody who can understand. So I just thought maybe if one person understood, it would be worth it. I would be happy.
Wow.
I could go on, but yeah, basically that was the reason. It was because I just had to write it. I had to write it.
Yeah. I'm speechless actually, Michael. Seriously. Yeah. So, Michael, I can say that the story is based on your personal experience when you were a kid, right? And
Yes.
that's why I can see also the similarity between you and also the boy on the book cover. That's you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
The
maybe
artist was a perfect job. That's me. And standing there,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
feeling of not belonging is just with that picture. I think
yeah.
I wanted a picture where there
That's
was the
why.
back of me. Yeah, looking out, looking at the school. Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I really wanted to give that message that what is amazing to me is that now, when I wrote Egghead, my dream was to go to schools and to speak to people about bullying. This was what I wanted to do. And I said, I will take Egghead and I can go into schools. This was my biggest and wildest dream. And what happened is actually the opposite. Egghead took me. The story took me. It was like this. And going into schools now, there is a picture somebody took of me from the back when I'm talking to some children. And if you put that picture, that photo next to the cover of Egghead, it's quite interesting. Now I'm inside the school and talking about bullying and sharing, and the reaction is always so positive from the children that have read this. So I always go in when I speak to them as a surprise. They don't know I'm coming into the classroom, and they have just finished the story. And I say, "Hello, my name is Michael." But some people used to call me Egghead, and they look at the book. They look at me. The front cover of the book, it's not much older, but yeah, 1973. And then they realize that it's, and then they start talking in English, and that's the beautiful thing. They want to know, they have questions. Some people who never spoken in English before in class speak. And even when I'm in Italy, because I don't tell them that I know Italian, at the end of the lesson I say, okay, I'd speak to them in Italian to say goodbye, and they, what, you speak Italian? Why didn't you tell us this? But interestingly, after knowing, they continue speaking to me in English. And that's the power of a story as well. That's our language. That's the language they use to speak about the story. And tell me if I'm, if you want to, if I'm going on too long, just stop me and tell me if. I meet in this way children who are being bullied, and I know who they are because I tell the teacher, don't tell me which children are being bullied. I will tell you, and see if I'm right. And I'm always right because I can see them, and I understand from the question that they ask. They ask me this one question, and I know that they are being bullied. They say, Michael, are you happy now? That simple question, are you happy now? Because if you are bullied, you think that it's not possible to imagine a future when you will be happy. And so they need that confirmation. Yes, I'm happy. I'm very happy. You can be happy. You will be happy. So that little boy in the front cover now is, the beautiful thing for me is that now that little boy is inside the school and talking to children who are being bullied through the medium of a story.
Anyway, Michael, is that okay if you share a little bit about what you felt at that time when you were a kid and you had to go to school and you didn't feel okay when you had to go to school?
Yeah. It was terrible. I would, all kinds of fantasies I would have that the school was going to disappear. When a foggy day, I would dream and fantasize that the school didn't exist anymore because I couldn't see it. And I would walk to school hoping that the school wasn't there. But obviously, when I got near, I could see the school. It was there again. I had to go again. I think that for a child, what the problem is for a child is that if you hear, when you hear these things that the other children say, when you are very young, you think it's the truth. You have no faculty to say, oh, that's just what they think. It's not true. You internalize it and you believe that it's true. You bring it into your, so all of the things that when children bully other children, the bullied child thinks that these things are true, that they are worthless, they are no good, they have no future, they are ugly, unwanted, unloved failures. All of these things are internalized. So it's about surviving. It's about trying to stop people from saying these things and but you think it's true. And that's why children don't tell their parents. Often it's because they think it's true and they don't want their brother or sister or mother or father to know that they are a failure. And it's like, it's very powerful. In the story, I mention this. I say, I can't tell my mother and father because they will bully me too. Or they will know I'm Egghead too. So it's that's what you go through, this feeling that you have to survive, you have to get through the day, get to the end of the day. But you believe these things, you believe them yourself. You think, okay, I am Egghead. That's who I am. And I'm Egghead when I go home as well. I'm Egghead all the time. Some people don't know. My mother and father don't know. Okay, I won't tell them. And now it's even more terrible for children because when they go home, they are not safe because the social media follows them into the bedroom. When I was a child, my bedroom, I was safe from the bullying. But now I don't. There is no. There's
No
no
way to
safe.
escape. Yes.
Yeah. So it's even more important to reach out to children, to sort of give them a chance, to sort of to give them the opportunity where they feel that they can share, they can tell their family
True.
and these things, that it's okay, that they're not worthless.
And Michael, but as I read the book, I don't really see that you actually talk back to those who bullied you, but instead you choose to talk about all of your problems to Andrew. Why was that?
Yeah, I really felt strength in going. I went inside myself, and I think I found that part of me which is impossible to break. There's that all of us have, and different cultures call it different things, I think, but it's that part of us that is universal, that says, Michael, you're okay. I love you, you know. And I found that part of myself. And I remember the first moment when I found, I was eating in the school, I was eating my dinner at school, and a little voice inside me said, it sounds strange now, but a little voice said, Michael, be careful, that the potato is hot. And it was me, it was a part of me speaking to another part of me. Be careful, it's okay. And all the time it was the voice telling me that I was okay. So I said, yeah, I would make myself very small at school and sit in the corner, but I would have Andrew, and I was the source of strength I gained from him. And I still do. I
Until
still
now?
do. Maybe I don't call him Andrew, but they're still there.
So Andrew is still with you.
Yeah. I mean, as a child, I had to make this thing, this presence inside me, this loving presence. I had to make it into another boy, a child, a boy, the boy I wanted to be, in a way. You know, this was a boy that I would admire and want, and who liked me, and that was how I kind of saw Andrew being like that. You know, it was a cool name, Andrew. It was. Yeah, I had this friend nobody knew about, you know, it was my secret.
Okay.
Anyway, I have two inner voices too. So I think that will happen when you told us that there's another voice telling you that, hey, you are okay, that you are loved, and if you do this, then you will get hurt. The potato is hot. I have that voices too, but I don't call them Andrew. I have other names for them, but and they are still here until today. When I feel that I'm not okay, and the first persons that I will tell that I am not okay will be them, and they will talk something good to me, and I will feel better. But then if I couldn't do anything about that, and I will turn to Yusefa and who I'm not okay, and ask for support.
So first,
and some other
it's
friends.
like your imaginary friend, and then
Yes.
if your imaginary friend cannot convince you, then you turn into the real friend.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I mean, a
But
lot of people, the children often say they're sad because Andrew has gone away, and you know, that's one of the reactions. But obviously, it was positive because I didn't need Andrew so much. But a lot of children say, what's happened to Andrew? I want Andrew back. And the idea is that he hasn't gone anywhere. He's there whenever I need him, and he's also with you as well. You know, and from culture to culture, yeah, Andrew takes on many forms, I think. And yeah, it's
oh
that
wow,
was the
that you're not talking back to your friends. Actually, that answers my curiosity, Michael. And and I see it as something good, because I mean, like, if I were you, I would get mad to the rest of my classmates, you know, because I don't want to be bullied. Like I say, like, hey, I don't want to be bullied, and I will get mad. But reading your story, I think I see something good, that sometimes we do not need to talk back to those who bullied us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I believe that bullying happens, bullying exists, and most of the time we cannot avoid it. So what I see from your story is that you focus on how to deal with it instead of how to talk about it, and how to, you know, like, to have
Absolutely.
like some confrontation with your classmates. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's
so how
it.
do you
Mm.
yeah, so how do you see the impact of your book being read by the students, children in many countries? Because at first your expectation was only being read by one child, and you're happy, but now it's everywhere.
It's incredible, and I think the way it impacts is on two different levels. Actually, the interesting thing is that, like, on one level, okay, it speaks to children maybe who do feel, and there are so many children who are bullied, and it speaks to them, and it, because it speaks to them in a different language generally, because most of the people who read it are not, their English is not their first language. It's actually a language they can use to talk about something that maybe they can't talk about so easily in their own language. It becomes a way in which this subject can be discussed in class because they talk about it in English and not in Italian, or not in another language, or Spanish, or whatever it is. Because and so the actual subject of bullying can, as I said, when I go into the classroom, I notice immediately the children that are being bullied. I can't speak to them as, like, single them out and talk to them individually, but I'm looking at them as I'm talking. As soon as I know who they are, when I'm talking, my eye contact is very much focused on those kids that I know are being bullied, and I can see that it's comfort to them, even though I'm a totally different generation, different culture. There's something universal. There's a kind of a bond that emerges, and so to have this opportunity to do that, I feel really blessed that I have a chance to communicate, to connect, and just to help, in some way. And then I think it's also one of the things about Egghead, also speaking from the point of view of a teacher and practitioner of extensive reading, is that it has been for some students a kind of a home run book, a book that has given children the confidence to say, I can read a book in English and I can enjoy it. And it makes a difference to some, the relationship with language, with English has changed, because, and so I feel blessed on these two different levels, really, that, and yeah, I never would have imagined. I always write I wrote Egghead in the hope that it would be good enough so that I could write another story, because what I wanted to write. I had no expectation, and that, I would be going to Tokyo and being given the award, and I would never, I would have said, are you crazy? No, it's my little story. And so, yeah, it's every day I'm very grateful and thankful. And you think about it, something that was a word that was, as I said, in Tokyo, I think, it was a word I was terrified of, egghead, for so many years. And now it's a positive word. And that's all happened not through fighting, or exactly as you said, not through, I could have reacted, but then I would have been doing what they wanted me to do, which to give energy to this idea that's what they wanted. By not reacting, by doing what I didn't give it the power. I didn't give those people the power to make me small, to make me smaller, to make me suffer. I didn't give them the energy. It's about, in the story, when I jump on David, it really is that moment when I understood that if I do that, then I'm giving the energy to the bullies, and I'm no better than them. And I looked in his eyes and understood that. I saw my face in his face, I saw. And so to seek out people, people who, who you can share this with, Am I speaking okay? Not too fast, I hope. Just tell me if...
Yeah.
Good, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah. And also your story is wonderful.
Thank
But
you.
I also heard, yeah, I also heard that Egghead has a song, right? Could you sing the little part of that song for us? It would be wonderful for us to hear that directly from you, Michael.
Yeah. Well, have you got the song with you? Have you got it like on like the background, or I am? Have you got it there? Can you play a few bars of it, or do you have it on YouTube?
Can you search, Mas Thomas?
Sorry,
That
because like
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
maybe
searching for it now.
I could start by telling you about the song a little bit before, just to warm up before I
Sure.
sing, give it
Sure.
some context. The song, I was on a train, and the book had come out, the story had arrived, and I have a friend who is who I play music with, and I said at 6 in the morning, and I phoned him and I said, we have to do a song for Egghead. And he was still asleep. He said, what are you talking about? And I said, I have this song, and I started to sing this. Said, I've had this song in my head for 30 years, this song about, and he said, this is incredible. He said, because I have a song that I made 3 years ago, which is similar to this. I said, well, it must mean this destiny. I have to write this song. And so we have to write this song together. So we did. And he said he wrote this song in Japan when he was on honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
The song we wrote, we kind of put our songs together. We put our songs together. And then I waited like for the song to arrive. And it takes some time to mix the song in the studio. And I was going to Japan. I was going to Tokyo. And the announcement said, okay, flight for Tokyo, boarding. And I had to go and get I was walking up the stairs onto the aeroplane. Ding! And I saw my email, and the song arrived as I was about to take off. And so I listened to it, for the first time going to Japan. The song maybe had part of its beginning was in Japan, and it was coming back to Japan, the song, and I was listening and listening. And at the conference, I didn't sleep because I was listening to this song over. And as I said, and the thing about the song is that the words to the song I wrote very quickly. The verses to the song. Yeah, it's very simple. Do you know that? Do you remember the lines? Some of the lines. I am. Do you remember? I am. It's like saying.
Is the title crying?
The title is crying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have found it.
Do you want us to play the music?
Yes, yes, yeah. Just play. If you can, have you got it on YouTube?
Yeah. Can I play it now?
Yeah. Play it,
and I can Thomas, you have to share your screen so that we can listen to the song.
Can you hear that?
And then I
now?
can sing along to it. If you can find it. Echo. I'm the best, I'm the worst, I'm the last, I'm the first, I'm in chains, I am free. I am you, you are me. Okay, that's the first verse. I'm the best, I'm the worst, I'm the last, I'm the first. I'm a normal guy, I'm like everybody, I'm a normal person. Sometimes I'm the best, sometimes I'm the worst, sometimes and I am you and you are me. And it's a song that's saying, like, trying to say we are the same. You know, I don't want to be different, I want to be the same. I want to be like you. I want you to find what is the same about us, you know. So I'm the best, I'm the worst, I'm the last, I'm the first. I'm in chains, I'm free, I am you. You are me. And to find that part that's where the link with Andrew is, because that's the part that unites us. And so the song really was about that, you know. You will be living in my heart if you listen to my story. You will be living in that. This idea of living in my heart, if you listen to my story, because that's what we have to do, all of us. If we listen, then we understand each other. Ignorance, and the word ignorance is just when you ignore. You're not listening to a story of somebody else, you are ignoring. Ignorance is that. So we have to listen to each other. If you listen to my story, you will be living in my heart, where Andrew is. And that's the idea behind the song. And my one teacher in Rome told me once that he was teaching Egghead in the garden of the school. And there was a person came walking past outside, and he was quite like something about him made the children laugh and make fun. And the teacher said, look, what are we doing here? What are we reading? Do you think this is a good way to? And she said it was really useful, because then they began to see that it was wrong because she said, do you know this person's story? You know, do you know anything about this person? No. So don't judge. And that's really the song and the story, how they go together, let's say that. And it's been 3 years since the song has come out, and but it really was just an instinctive thing that the story needed a song, and now every story I write has a song. I've written 3 stories recently, and they all have songs. I have to find some way of playing these songs to you and showing you the stories as soon as I can. Yeah,
Sounds good, Michael.
Thank you. It's as I said, the words came out really quickly, so sometimes I have a problem in remembering them, because my friend who I sing with always laughs and says, Michael, how can you forget? You've sung this song so many times. I don't know, but there's something about it that. But yeah. So the songs are important, and it was in Indonesia that I realized how important they were, because once I was speaking to a class in Indonesia about Egghead, and they started to sing the song as a surprise to me in English. Beautiful connected speech in English. Everybody was singing. And again, it was another affirmation of how these stories and songs can help with language so much, let's say.
I think after this, then we will try to sing it together later when we want to publish the YouTube version for this podcast. We certainly need to put the song Mas Thomas so that everyone will know that
Sure.
Egghead
Sure.
Yeah.
is accompanied with a beautiful song.
Well, I mean, I would love to make a. We can do it. We can. I'm going to be in the studio soon to make a song that for another story, and I can ask my friend that we can make a recording or something, especially for you
Oh,
or
thank
something.
you.
That would be nice.
That would be
Because,
great.
like,
Yay.
to be honest, when my friends noticed that in Indonesia they were singing the song, they were like really emotional. It was really a beautiful moment when, you know, there was this across the skies, across the ocean, you know, there was this connection, you know, with this song. And yeah, I think it'd be nice to sort of sing something for your podcast.
Thank you. Anyway, Michael, as a book author, how do you see the power of books and the power of reading books?
Mm. Yeah, immense power. Stories are like a part of us from the very beginning. I think, you know, when we could, it was a way of communicating through stories, and so obviously at the beginning it was oral, and we are all storytellers. We tell stories every day to each other, and writing, obviously reading stories is also really powerful. When I was a young boy, and my teacher introduced me, like before I read comics, which is great and fine, wonderful, and I loved reading because I read comics, and I didn't know much about other things. And she suggested also other things. She said, "That's great, Michael. You read about this. Try this as well." And so I would start reading. I started to read other stories, and basically every evening from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening before bed, because in England when as a child the timetable is very strict. 9 o'clock bed. And my father said no television between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and I thanked him for that when I was older, because in those 2 hours I would read. And I wasn't Egghead anymore when I read. I was invited into a community of characters who didn't judge me. I could belong to them for 2 hours and jump into their world using my imagination. And they were the best 2 hours of my life every day. And they were the thing that I would wait for, that moment when at 7 o'clock I could open the book. And I still remember those books, the cover, the color, everything about these books I still remember. They were like my best friends. They were, and like when I opened them at 7 o'clock in the evening, it was like opening a door that I could walk through and feel that I was somebody who counted, who belonged. That was as simple as that. And and at 9 o'clock when I shut the book, it was like the door closed behind me, you know, and I had to go to bed and become me again. And it's a bit like, if you haven't had this feeling, I can only describe it in this way. When you go to the cinema and you really good film, you forget yourself, or you're inside the story. So if people don't read, they have this sensation of being inside a story. And then suddenly the lights come on, and on the screen you see the end, and you become yourself again. And just for a few seconds, you feel a bit strange, especially when, is it true? You have this feeling? And that was me every evening. And books are even more powerful. And reading is even more powerful in this way, because you are even more a protagonist, I think. You invent much more with your imagination, and so you forget about, you become, for me it was the single most important thing that helped me to get through a difficult period in my life, and the single most important thing that helped me to do well academically. Reading anything helped me to become good at everything at school. All of the subjects I improved when I started reading like that. It's an incredible personal affirmation of extensive reading. It really is. I lived that. I lived that experience. I became really like academically, and my parents would say, "Where do you come from?" Because my family have no kind of had no kind of background in school, at university, or studying. No love for studying, and I was like, Michael is different. He's so good at school, you know. And the simple reason was not because I was some kind of genius. It's because I was standing on the shoulders of the giants who told me these stories. So it's that important. And one more thing about reading for parents, it's fundamental. It's fundamental to get your children to read because, excuse me, if they don't read, they don't understand, learn about consequences. Because stories are full of characters that do things, and what they do has a consequence. And so living through a story, you learn that about responsibility, that what you do has a consequence. When you play a video game, there are no consequences, because if you do something bad, you switch off the game and start again. And in life, you cannot do that. So it's really like a life skill. Reading is something that is not just inside the classroom, but it's also in life. So it's everywhere. Reading is fundamental, and it makes the difference. So yeah, it's really important. Important. Okay, it's really like a big one of the most important gifts you can give, I think, to your children is a love of reading.
True.
And if you read, they watch you read, and they read, and you're giving them the keys to so much joy, safety, knowledge, and everything.
Yeah, totally agree. Thank you for saying that again, Michael.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. And,
You're amazing. You know, I've been holding my tears listening to your stories. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Okay.
The opportunity to talk about things that I love so much.
Yeah. Michael, I know that you travel a lot to tell your stories, right? And also promote extensive reading to students and children, especially in many places in Italy, right? Yes. Now that this pandemic happened, so does it influence or give you some impact on how you tell your stories and how you promote extensive reading?
Absolutely. I mean, it happened in Italy earlier than many other countries where I live. It was already in February, it was starting to become, and I was doing my kind of normal thing. I was in Rome talking about Egghead with the school. I think there were like about 300-400 students from this school, and they were asking me questions. And then I went, and that was the south of Italy. Then I went to the north of Italy and to some students about extensive reading. And so I went from the south to the north, and then when I got back home, it started like COVID, and suddenly it was a big shock to me because, you know, that my job does involve a lot of moving around and meeting people, and suddenly I couldn't do that, and so I had to learn pretty quickly to try to communicate the best way possible with through these means. I did 3 webinars in April about extensive reading, which I think was just in Italy, but there were probably spoke to about like 3,000-4,000 teachers. And that was maybe then you see an advantage to it, because I could speak to so many teachers about something so important at one time, when normally when you travel, you speak maybe to, even if it's a big event, maybe maximum 500. And I was speaking to many more people. And then I did another seminar on extensive reading for TESOL. So I've been trying to do webinars. What I've been trying to do is to see the advantage for it, because you have to find COVID is a terrible thing, and don't deny that. And it's, but you have to find what is good about the situation. There's no point in complaining, I thought to myself, because it's not going to change anything. So I have to find the good. And I think the good I found with connecting with students and teachers is by this kind of way of communicating gives me a chance to go into a classroom for 10 minutes. And that's what I've been doing. So with some of the teachers, I arrange with them where I will tell a very quick story in 10 minutes, maybe, a class. Obviously, they are, and so that's what I've been doing, because so you can have, like, maybe you lose quantity, but you can have quality in this way. It's trying to find a way to reach out, and so that is really what I've been doing. And I found that for the students' stories who have been, they've been alone at home, but with stories you can be alone together, which seems like a paradox, but you can. Stories, reading gives that. Again, there is a community, and you create a community even if you are not in the same room. So I think that is what has been happening. My discovery about this, I want COVID to finish really as soon as possible, as we all do. I want it to obviously to have the opportunity to physically go and visit schools. But while we are in this situation, you know, that's what I think what the best thing about it is, that I think that you can jump inside for 10 minutes or so, and also through songs. There is a song at the moment which is called Across the Sky. I don't know if you've seen it, listened to it, but it's about lockdown. It begins, morning has arrived, the day is long. I can see the world outside my window. And it's about, and then it says, but I can do this, I can do that, I can do so many things. I can, and it's a kind of a message of hope. And lots of children have listened to this song, and so I can project that into the home as well.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for helping us to see the positive things that we have to take a look at, more than the negative impact from this pandemic. I mean, you know, sometimes we forget to remember that there are still good things that we can do, and there are still good friends around us, and we can share. Thank you very much. You're not only that you're very inspiring, but you're very positive, and thank you for bringing up that energy for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the chance. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's not always easy to be positive about it, but you know, it's and I think obviously we all need to channel our frustration in some way, and you know, that's normal. But I think it's important to see that you can have, like, I'm planning to meet some teachers and some students in October, and there is a plan A, like maybe I will physically be able to go there. But if not, plan B, we have to see the positive, what I can do, maybe, like, or what we can do together, even if we stay inside our house, or I can't go to the school. There's something I can do, maybe.
Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, I agree with Buku actually. And maybe I need to ask you another thing, Michael. Do you have any messages for children and students around the world related to reading. Although you have said that, but I need you to say that again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I can, reading. Yeah, I think that it's read. The main message is keep reading and read on, and it doesn't matter what you read. There is no there's no such thing as a good book or a bad book or a good. It's what you want to read that's really important. To find that moment, something that you read, the choice that you make really should be that you, when you have a book, where you reach a point where you can't stop. That's the kind of, when you find that material, reading, that source that does that to you, then that's the kind of thing that is made for you to read at that moment. And so it's very important. I think sometimes there is this idea that there is the perfect book to read or the perfect, but no, it's anything that you love. And because reading is something that okay, I mentioned about consequences as an example of like what reading does, but it also gives you the gift of helps you to become more, have more empathy, understanding of other people. It sweeps away ignorance. You know, you practice understanding other people's points of view. You're reading because you have to jump inside these other people's lives, and so it gives you so many things, so many skills. It's something that impacts upon every aspect, I think, of your life. And if you, so it's, I mean, I think it's one of the reasons maybe why there are some problems in the world today is due to the fact that maybe less people are reading. You know, it's, if you have somebody in the sky about to press a button to drop a bomb and they have only played video games, they will not care about who is at the end of that bomb or who is on the ground. If they have read, they will think twice before pressing that button, because they will understand that there are consequences. They will understand that there are people on the ground. I don't think, you know, it's possible to make certain choices if you read, and if you because you understand, you're not ignorant anymore. It's that important. It's to become it's to become, if you want your children to become accomplished and happy human beings, start reading yourself, and your children will imitate you because they copy you. If they see you with a mobile phone all the time, they'll want a mobile phone. You have to give them what I called in the webinar that I did recently, the reading bug. And it means, that you get to a point where you cannot help yourself. It's like you are addicted to reading. And when you go on a journey, you have to have a book. If you don't have a book, it's like being naked. You know, something's missing in my life, you know? And so the best as parents, what we could do is we have to read ourselves. It's not forcing a child to read, because it's very difficult to force a child to do anything. And it's not advisable. By example, then, so reading.
Wow.
Can you hear that next door?
It's okay. Wow, it's a very powerful message, Michael. Wow. I think Lanoke, Thomas, and I were so inspired today, and I feel like I'm breathing positive energy. It's in the morning here.
It's morning for you,
I feel like,
yeah.
yeah.
We're all at different times,
Right.
which is beautiful in a way. We're connected
Mhm.
in all different times of the day. It's
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is another example of how the positive side of technology, because we are
right.
connecting well like this.
Oh,
Wonderful.
wow. It's really a very nice session with you today, Michael. But unfortunately, we have to end our session now. But before we end, we have trivia questions for you that you have to answer quickly. And Lanoka always say, please answer quickly without thinking.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. What is your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book is Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, which is a book about war. Yes, but it's also it's a book that makes me laugh and cry, and I that's why I love it so much, and I often come back to it. However, if you ask me this question tomorrow, maybe it would be another book. At the moment, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Catch-22. I love certain scenes that I relive in my mind over and over again that make me laugh when I'm walking down the street. When I remember them, and but you can also make me cry as well, Joseph. That book can do both these things. Do you know the book? No,
I haven't
you
read
know
that. I
this
haven't
book.
read that.
Catch-22. Yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
check
it's a
later.
anti-war book. It's a book against war. It's based in the Second World War. But I can tell you, we haven't got time, but this book also is like special to me because I found it because someone threw this book at me when I was sitting by the river. Somebody said, "Read this," and they were on a boat, and they threw it to me, and and that's how I got the book. It arrived to my like this in my hands.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a possible question. I mean, that's a really mean question. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like asking your favorite. It's such a tough question, and probably when we say goodbye, I was, oh, I should have said no,
Something
no,
else.
no.
Yeah, I do agree, Michael. Yeah. Okay. The next question, Michael.
Yeah.
Maybe. What is your favorite place to read?
Favorite place to
Read.
pray? How to read?
Read. Yeah.
My favorite place to read. If I'm a little bit sad, my favorite place to read is in a public place. It's like a park or something. If I feel a bit like disconnected with everything, if I read there, I feel as though I'm reconnecting, re-energizing. I feel as though I'm more connected with the world. So if I feel down, I go out to read. If I feel okay, it's really my bedroom, my bed, because that's my lifetime habit is to read myself to sleep. And so I go to sleep with the story in my mind. And so my favorite place would be in bed, definitely the last, before sleeping.
Nice answer.
It's,
Me
it's,
too.
reading is, yeah. Well, another question you could ask maybe somebody is, what's the strangest place that you have ever read? That would be interesting. Well, it's been,
Yeah.
I think, thank you. I mean, you've made me feel so comfortable, all of you. And it's like, I've really enjoyed myself. And I think I always the sign that something is good is that I could go on for hours. And that's always a sign that it means that you've made me feel so comfortable. And I've enjoyed myself so much that it's thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this chance to speak to you and to the people who are watching or listening. And it's an honor to have that chance to speak to all of you. Thank you so much. You've
Yeah,
made me.
Michael.
I'll be smiling all day now. Thank you. I hope to see
Yeah,
you
Michael.
soon in person. Indonesia next year. There's something very important happening, and I hope I get the chance to be there. And if there is no problem with viruses and things, then I will be there.
I mean,
It will be a great moment to see all of you. For
We'll be
me,
happy to meet in
sure.
person.
Yeah, sure.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Michael. Actually, we don't want to stop the session for sure. You can ask Buku and Bu Yuseka, Pak. Yeah, but thank you so much for being with us today. It is really great to have listened to your sharing. They are very inspiring, and I hope I can read your next books in the future. And stay safe and healthy. See you.
You too. You take care. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Lovely to speak to
Yeah.
you. Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Michael. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.